I've been thinking about this for at least a long while because I've seen most of my friends who are Jet fans just fully embrace the tank. And to me,
It's pathetic.
it doesn't sit well with me at all.
It's
I'm like,
pathetic.
why are you rooting for losing? If anything, you should look at what Brian Flores did and realize that this
Y-
is not how you build a team. You can't do this. You have to, at some
Thank you,
point,
Sus.
I would rather the Jets win. Like, honestly, if they start winning,
Thank you, Sus.
if they win, then it'd be like, even if you lose out on Trevor Lawrence, you still create an environment and get a coach that actually wants to create a good culture, wants to get the players fully motivated to get out to every single game, no matter how lopsided it may be, and just give 110%. Give 110%, and maybe you get an upset win, and maybe you turn it around the way the Giants did when they just completely bamboozled the Seahawks. I'm sorry I had to get that in there because I am still bummed and angry about that game.
No, yeah, well, yeah, I won't touch that. But honestly, I thank you for bringing this up because I think it's pathetic. I think that the Jets fans have completely lost the plot on this. It's sad. And the only way I understand this is a lost season. Adam Gase is getting, fired, and they're going to banish Sam Darnold too for a third-round pick and yada, yada, yada. So what's the difference anyway in lose and a real fan wants to lose? Well, you just lost me right there. That's not a thing a real fan wants to lose. There is no proven track record of getting the number one pick and turning into a juggernaut. That is not a thing that happens, certainly not in this century in the NFL. It's just not. There's not a single example you can point to where that worked out. It's not. And the only way to break the same old Jets, the energy around this franchise, is to just win games. That's the only way to do it. The only way to ensure that it never ends is to root for the latest humiliation. And so you had a thing happen this past Sunday that it's not quite butt fumble level, but it's like seeing ghosts level, and it's in the pantheon of Jets humiliations. And as long as you keep adding to that and keep opening that wound, I mean, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change, and everybody is, enticed by the next new toy. It's the best way to be distracted from how depressing the team is currently, and I understand that part, and I understand the allure of Trevor Lawrence. Believe you me, but Trevor Lawrence alone is doomed with the Jets. There is an entire culture change that needs to happen, and there is a talent revolution that needs to happen. I mean, Quinnen Williams has had a much better year this year, and he can stay. I think there's something to work with Mims for sure. Crowder's actually a pretty good slot receiver, and they have a left tackle. You could argue outside of those guys, they don't have anybody that's worth keeping on the whole team, on an actual playoff team that's actually going to matter, that's actually going to be part of the turnaround. So this is a lot to overcome. I don't know what kind of coach they're going to be able to attract with just Trevor Lawrence. And going 0-16, I'll end here because I got to just stop ranting about this. Going 0-16 is not something that any sane fan base would ever want for their team. That is crazy. That is crazy. So, I mean, look, I'm barely a Jets fan. It's not even fair. I shouldn't even get credit for being a Jets fan anymore. I don't want the credit. I don't want the association. And it's hard for me to act like I'm actually commenting right now from a place of having any affinity for that team at all. I cannot stand them. But I just don't understand how, if you had any affinity left for that team, that uniform, those hideous uniforms, that ridiculous logo, how you could want 0-16 as part of the story. But again, that's what it is. You root for the latest terrible thing to happen, which is what happened this week. You root for the next terrible milestone, which will be 0-16. And the idea that those things and cheering those things on is going to change the direction of this franchise is idiotic and crazy. But that's where we are. That's where we are with Jets fans.